this is Charlotte. It's another podcast where I'm chatting in my car, but I shouldn't be because I'm supposed to be doing other things. But I've got the day off today, so it's not too bad. Right, there's a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do talk about sensitive topics and I do swear a lot, particularly as I navigate through traffic at the moment with a lot of roadworks and not a lot of intelligent people. Yes, which is probably a good topic to start with. It relates to the topic I've got for today, basically, and the topic for today is negativity, funny enough, which is hard to get rid of, I think. I mean, particularly if you've got a background in trauma or anything like that, it does feel like the world sinks in on you most days, or it just generally pisses you off. I find I have a very short fuse for stupidity. For some reason, my brain goes straight to, fight or flight, and it's not flight. So it's like I have a fierce temper when it comes to stupidity, but I've also been told that since a young age I have not been one to tolerate idiots. So what is it? My mom used to say, I do not suffer fools gladly, or something like that, something to that effect. It is a pretty famous quote, or whatever they call it, idiom. But some people face negativity, and it's pretty, there's quite a bit of negativity these days considering how much weird shit's going on. I mean, I think honestly all this might have stemmed from when Harambe died, but there's that ongoing millennial joke. We would have been fine if that hadn't happened, and all this wouldn't have just happened. But there is seemingly a lot of negativity coming on, and in spiritual times there's a sense that we are going through a global dark night of the soul, which is where all of us, in our own particular ways, are facing our shadows. We're finding a lot of politicians are suddenly coming out of the woodwork, having done these disgustingly heinous things, and suddenly the emperor's got no clothes and we can all see it. Now you can't really hide that shit anymore. In our personal lives, we're finding who are our friends and who are our fake friends and who are using us. We're finding that our lives might not have as much meaning as we thought, and maybe we'll want different things. These kinds of things generate negativity. They also question, or make you question, what you're doing with your existence at this point and your life journey. Typically, people tend to go through this kind of dark night of the soul when they're about 30. They start having existential crises. What am I doing with my life? And you'll find that a lot of divorces, for example, occur around 30 odd. People separate around 30 odd because the things you wanted when you were in your 20s are usually quite different from what you want in your 30s. And you might have another one. They call it like a midlife crisis, but it's realistically, it could happen at any time, just tends to happen around 30. Sorry, I'm dealing with knobs and beamers. Go away, you. But, there's a lot of negativity to be had. I think if you've got a background in trauma, you tend to develop a really dark sense of humor to deal with it. Either that or you go completely opposite way and you just, soak yourself in it. Where are all these people coming from? Some people go the completely depressive route, or they become very bitter. I'm trying to avoid it myself. I find recently, I don't know if it's me or my background or my, twin flame who's having a really bad fucking time right now. But I tend to be getting very bitter and angry about stuff, and I don't know why. It's not my temperament too normally, because I'm usually pretty optimistic, but I find there's a huge energy of just things feel shitty, and on paper, it isn't for me. I'm doing quite well, actually. On paper, we're doing really, really well. We're working towards the goals. There's nothing in our way blocking us from our goals. So I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, where the fuck is this really negative energy coming from? And they say it's something to do with, for example, at the moment we've just had the Leo moon, if you want to go into the woo-woo side of things. The Leo moon, which should make you question all the masks and facades that you've been taking on. Maybe you've been operating under a pseudonym. or a nickname or a fake name. Charlotte's not my name, but I'm not saying my name. Probably because it's not the name I was supposed to have in the first place. But all these masks and facades and things that we've been creating to cope with negativity or bad experiences, for example, are being questioned at this point. We're asking ourselves, is this the authentic self that we're supposed to be? Or is this some coping mechanism I've created to deal with the circumstances I find myself in? So we're really being called to question who the fuck we are at this point, particularly with the sign being in Leo, which is all about public persona, and you know, these are the queen bees of the population, I'm afraid. Yeah, us Tauruses, we're just happy workers, man. We just like getting the job done. But these ones want the whole. They love the PR stunts and the public recognition. But the question is, are you lying or faking it to make it? And that's what the full moon last night was, actually. It was the 1st of February. Is it February? 1st of February last night. Sunday night. It's now Tuesday. But it's asking you, is this the kind of person that you want to be? Is this where you want to go? Or is this just someone or some persona you've created in order to cope with the shit experiences you've had, and now you've taken it on and maybe it's a bit too much like a drag and you're fed up of it already? And the human psyche is made up of many components of, or facets of, an identity which we created and incorporated into who we are and what we see ourselves as. So there's never one facet to who you are. It's a multi-dimensional, multi-faceted thing. It's like a diamond. Very valuable, but still, you know, there's never one. I'm never just one thing, and it keeps changing as well, which makes it incredibly difficult when you're trying to find out who the fuck you are, because you assume that you're one way in another way, or maybe you're interacting with someone and you think they're one way in another way, but you've just assumed. You've taken the very most simplistic view of them, and you said, that's that person and I know them well. For example, when I was divorcing, it's like I thought I knew my ex-husband, but I really didn't, because, you know, all this extra shit came out of nowhere, and you're like, oh fuck, it's been 16 years, I did not see this coming. But we're constantly changing, and as we grow and as we formulate and evolve, we do tend to take on different personas and things like that. So we're looking at the authenticity of who we are with this Leo moon, and with that, unfortunately, comes the side effects of feeling very heavy and negative. And we need to deal with those, and that it's hard, because if you medicate with things like drinking or drugs or anything like that, obviously it's going to make the situation worse. So I find that I have no fucking filter. I was swearing at my mom on the weekend, and this woman is like 70 with Parkinson's. There's a long history there of why that dynamic is not a great one, but at the same time, it's like I was having a lot of trouble, because I do have a background in trauma, trying to hold in the comments that were just like directed at her, and I'm sitting there going, look, this isn't going to lead anywhere if I hurt her feelings in any case. It would just lower myself to her level, because she does tend to have this sort of jellyfish sting persona where she'll make comments and it'll be like, oh, but I didn't mean that, and you know, but at the same time, I was exhausted already, and my head's been fuzzy for fucking days, and I felt very angry for weeks now, and I don't honestly know if that's, and nothing ever pisses me off for weeks. So I'm wondering if it's some kind of energy in the area, in the ether, or if it's just watching what's going on with the world and thinking, what the fuck is going on? We're also finding that we're facing some kind of existential crisis where our heroes, for example, are becoming villains, and you start to think, what the fuck? This is not the reality I thought it was, and it's changed, and that's creating some kind of, you know, dissociation from our reality, because now we feel a bit lost, and that might drag on your feeling of negativity. It's like, we don't know what we're doing now, and we're lost, and everyone's mean, and I hate it, you know? It's like, I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do. All these things that we thought we knew are just lies and bullshit, and my god, that would definitely create a scenario of negativity, and you got to find a way to navigate that without wanting to, you know, beat the shit out of someone, apparently, because apparently that's not going to end up well. So tricky. But in order to dispel that kind of thing, we need to find ways of coping that are healthy ways, obviously, given that we're being forced to face ourselves and our shadow self in this scenario, we need to show some humility in seeing maybe some of the decisions we made weren't the best ones. And maybe we were working with the information we knew at the time. For example, there's a shitload of MAGA people that are starting to have second guesses. You're like, wait a minute. Hold up. That's one. So maybe we should show some humility and start thinking maybe that wasn't the best thing we could have done. How can we remedy this? How can we damage control this and then try and turn it around? That's one way of doing it. The only thing, honestly, you can do is regulate yourself. You can't force someone into seeing things your way, even just seeing things your way, or doing what you want them to do, because it will never work out anyway. You've got that free will, and if they don't want to see it, it's a horse to water scenario. You can take a horse to water, but it doesn't mean they're going to drink the fucking water, whether they're dying or not. So honestly, the only thing we really have control over is ourselves. If you have control at all. I mean, control is an illusion in existentialist terms. Nothing really exists, and it's chaos. But it can't even be that, because even that doesn't exist. So, you know, it fucks with people's heads. They need the security blanket of understanding or labeling or categorizing what reality is for them. And when it starts to disjoint and reform, they just lose their shit. It's hilarious. I shouldn't be thinking that way. That's very horrible. Sorry. Some people are really losing their mind over this. Do what I do. Drink a lot of Diet Fizzy. I don't know why. It just makes me happy. Find one component. You ever watch that movie? What's that movie with DiCaprio in it, where he's got that little toy and he spins it? Inception. Do that. For me, the Diet Fizzy drink, it's cola. It's not even Coke. I don't buy brand. Is my little stable spinner thing. It's like, how do you know that you're going to be okay? I can afford $1.15 to go get a bottle of fizzy drink. I don't know, small things that bring comfort. Product placement. Find the small things. I mean, even when your world is absolutely collapsing, like 2018, my world completely collapsed. I had nothing to hold on to, because I don't know if you've been listening to the other podcasts, but you know, separated from my ex-husband, homeless, in debt. My granddad died, and then my nanny died, and it's like all these things just kept coming at you, and the universe is saying, it's like, I want to see what you know and how you're going to cope with the situation, and I want to see if you hit the mark or if you fail. And in failing, what did you learn from this? Now, I did okay in that scenario. It sucked for a year or so. It really fucking sucked while I got myself back on my feet. It could have gone a lot fucking worse. I could have turned to drugs, alcohol, these kinds of things to try and mediate the situation. But for some reason, that didn't appeal to me. What I did was I fucking banded together and got the fuck on with it. And unfortunately, that is a trauma response from having no support networks. Sorry, my stutter's kicking in. As a child, you just tend to condition yourselves to exist without the help of others, which is good and bad. You know the job's going to get done, and you don't have to worry about group projects failing because some other asshole didn't pull their weight. But at the same time, it does stop you asking for help. And when you can't do it yourself, like you really can't do it yourself, it tends to screw you over because you're hesitant to even think about asking for help or trying to get someone else involved because you're like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself. And I do tend to still think that way. So when shit goes down, you can become a bit negative in the way you approach the situation, which, yes. And at the time, yes, my stutter is so bad today. My psych did diagnose me with depression, among other things, which was fun because now I'm like, oh, I got names for things now. But at the same time, all I could see it was just I couldn't stop crying and I couldn't sleep. And it was like a year of just I couldn't stop crying. And it was so weird, but I needed that sort of soul purge to alleviate the negativity. So maybe a quick solution or an somewhat easy solution is to just have a fucking good cry. I mean, how many of us are, as an adult, are allowing ourselves to just fucking cry? I can highly recommend the shower and the toilet. So, you know, if you know when it's coming on. If you don't, then try and hide. Again, see, I'm not even comfortable with that at the same time. It's like I don't like crying in public. But again, that's a trauma response from my parents conditioning us not to feel or to show feeling. So how else can we alleviate our negativity? Just have a fucking good cry. Even if it takes, you know, like for me, when my dad died in March last year, I was having trouble getting to that point of crying. It was like constant edging. I hate edging. But, you know, what I did was I overloaded on sugar because I know that it creates a roller coaster effect for me where I go high and then I dump. And that affects my moods. And then I just watched a lot of chick flicks, those sad movies, and just got into it. And I didn't bed rot because I'm not the kind. But it did alleviate some of the negativity, and it did act as a bridge to getting on with the job, which essentially was still working full-time whilst trying to get to the hospital to see my dad before he went. All these extra stresses and things, we're dealing with family members who are facing the same problem, the same situation. It was a bridging effect. You need to find a way to get off the steam without making it destructive. That's my point. To find a constructive way of doing things. Like, so I bury myself in work as well. I've been told that's not a constructive way of doing things, but at the same time, it's very profitable at this point, and I've been doing quite well with that. But, you know, but that's also a thing. I don't sit there and just tunnel into work. I work, but I'm thinking and meditating while I do it. So I don't ever stop, and my brain doesn't stop. It just keeps fizzing. If I ever was diagnosed with ADHD, it would probably be the mental side of things. It just doesn't stop. It's never quiet in there. It's constantly going. The hyperfocus comes from the ASD, where I will tunnel into the work, but at the same time, I got ADHD, if anything, where my brain is fizzing, but my body's like, which is how you get onto the, you know, uploading thousands of bits of shit that someone might buy. That's one of my businesses. So there's got to be a way of dealing with negativity, and everybody's different. Some people deal with negativity by talking to others. I've been conditioned not to. I don't say shit unless it's something that's really, really big, like sexual assault. And then, of course, you get a bunch of assholes who don't fucking believe you, which is it just conditions you not to want to talk more. So you're like, you know what, fuck it. But I will continue to talk about it because there's now more of it than we thought there was, apparently, watching the social media pages and stuff like that. Particularly with people that were hiding it, or people who were not voicing their concerns because they were afraid of who might hear them and what might go on and what the ripple effect would be. So it's good to talk about these kinds of things, find a social group, even if you want to just talk to a psych or something like that. I found the novelty of going to a psych for support very interesting, considering I've already got a psych degree. I'm going, I want to know what you know. It's like, yeah, you actually got to the doctorate level. I just got a bachelor's. I want to know what you know. So that was interesting to have a conversation one-on-one with someone who's, you know, who knows things obviously more than I do because they've done more of it. But to have the sort of foundation discussion points, and then have them elaborate on it. That was fun. I like doing that because you're like, this is how I feel, this are the words I can put to it so far. It's like, what do you know about this way you can define it or explore it further for me? That was fun. I was sitting there going, okay. And while you're living in it, you don't see it. So that's another thing. It's a bit like Cyclops. I don't know if you know that story with the Cyclops. You could see everybody else's death, but he couldn't see his own. That just comes to mind. But it's good to have insight from others because obviously they're going to have an objective viewpoint of what's going on, and are you overthinking it maybe, or can they offer some kind of moral support for it? That's the tricky part though, because you'll find that a lot of people as you're growing up will be friends with you, but they're not actually your friends. They don't have your back. They just tend to associate with you. Maybe you work with them. Maybe they're friends of your siblings, or maybe you have your siblings, but your siblings have got their own fucking life. Like my siblings got their own fucking life at this point. That was pretty apparent when my dad died in March, and then us banding together lasted for about a month, and then they all went fucked off again. And you're like, right, okay. So we are here on our own. I mean, they did pull their weight, obviously, by all rights. They were doing the work and getting the job done, but we do tend to dissipate into our own separate lives after a certain time period, which was a bit annoying, because I'm thinking maybe this could be a topic or a scenario that could draw us together as a bit more as a family sort of thing, which is what I love. I wanted a family. I wanted, not the kind where you're breeding your own kids and shit. I'm like, anyone can do that. It doesn't mean, having kids does not mean you are a family. I'm just saying that. My parents had 4 fucking kids, and it felt like God knows how many years of just sticking together until we were allowed to leave. It does not mean just because they had you that there is a sense of cohesion, that you have anything in common. And I was thinking this yesterday because I was trying to get to the root of my negativity for the last couple of weeks. I've been really dwelling on situations that just don't make sense, and it's come to the fore that I don't really have any kind of support networks. But I was also conditioned into a situation or a temperament where I can operate without them pretty fucking well. And I know that's trauma-based. And I know most people, I think, have someone to have their back, whether it's a spouse or a partner or a sibling or something like that. But the kids in my family were conditioned to work independently. We tend to seek family members in our friends because the family unit itself was just so fucked. And we tend to have, like a best friend, or my brother's got a lot of his friends from high school still, and they still meet up and they've all had kids and they're doing all this thing. But when it comes to getting together for our family unit, for example, it tends to be a bit of a burst and then a dissipate. We'll come together for one thing, like when my dad died, and then we'll go off and do our own things. It's like, well, that was okay. We did this job, now we're going to do our own life. And I found, like, going down to, like, I go fortnightly to look after my mum every other weekend. It's a bit like, custody. I have parent custody. And I just go and do some odd jobs, hang out with her, check she's all right. She's got her own little social life with her little, because she's Jehovah's Witness, she's got friends in the hall, and they visit and everything like that. But I go every other weekend. And that's the thing, is like, I regularly go because I'm the reliable one. I don't cancel. But it's like, my younger sister went off back to the UK, and my older sister has her family to look after, and my older brother has his family to look after. And at the moment they're going through some shit as well, because his wife's dad's got his own health issues. So they're all wrapped up in their stories. So I was thinking, why am I feeling so put upon for this, where I'm, left holding the bag again? And I thought, you know what, there's no point getting angry about this. Because all it's doing is making me overthink, and I'm angry, and I feel like I'm the only one doing any work here, and I get pissed off. I'm going to go, this is a group project, but I'm the only one doing the fucking project. So that's one of my little pet peeves. What are you doing? I want someone, if I ever find someone again, I want someone who has my fucking back so I can have theirs, basically. And I know that stems from my ex-husband, who I basically wiped his ass, and then my ex-boyfriend, who, near enough had me wiping his ass again. And I'm sitting there going, I don't want someone who doesn't have my back. I think I would fucking hate that. And I think that honestly is something that would undermine any kind of future relationships, if I felt that I was pulling all the weight on my own. I'm just trying to get to the root of why I felt negative about that situation. And it's been an ongoing situation my entire life. It's like I came from a large family, but at the same time, you can still feel alone in a large family. Especially if, independence from each other and your parents is enforced from a very young age. Enforced and encouraged. Because, my mum put it under the guise of, I'm teaching you to be an adult, at 5. So I don't think that's the appropriate teaching. And they weren't physically affectionate at all. And they didn't say, I love you. My mum tried to start this shit up as an adult, like me in my 30s. She started saying, love you. And I'm sitting there going, don't say that shit. And it's sad though, because I feel like it's gonna go the same way as when my dad died, because it feels forced now. It's like, I love you. It's like, so it's been a roller coaster of emotions going down to look after her. So that's going to be an interesting thing to deal with when you know, all that comes to a close. So that could impact, like, your background could really seriously, you could be preconditioned to already be able to react to certain new stimuli in a negative way, just because it snowballs. You could already feel like you got a bit of a few aspects of your life is shit, or maybe all your life feels like it's shit, and you're trying to deal with something new that pops up. Like I have no emotional connection with my parents, and yet as they're aging, I know socially I should be looking after them because, you know, they're older people and need help and all this extra shit, but at the same time I've still got that in the back of my head going, you fuckers. You know? So I've got to deal with that on a one-to-one basis every time I go down there, and often I come back crying because it's just a case of some conflicting ideologies where my brain is going, you didn't give us the support networks as kids, why the fuck should I look after you now? You know, and then you got a whole guilt tripping thing where it's like, I shouldn't feel this way because they're elderly people and they need help, and it's, oh fuck. So it's the millennial dilemma. If you're a millennial, you're probably facing the same kind of situation with your boomer parents, where they fucked up your entire childhood and into your 20s maybe, until you left home, and then suddenly they need something at the end, and it's like, and then some of us are actually parenting kids and not trying to be like them, and you're like, rage quit. It's like, at this point, you're like, that is all your surrounds can be completely like closed in on you. You feel trapped, and you're like, why did I fucking do this in the first place? You know, fuck this. So as that center generation where we've not been cotton-wooled like Gen Z, we haven't been told that we can achieve anything and everything like that. We tend to have violence in instilling our values. Or you do as I do, not what is I do as I say, not what I do, is one of my favorite fucking sayings of the boomer generation, which just means I'm going to be a hypocrite and not do what I said I was going to do, and you just have to, you know, follow my directives because I need control over a population. It's these conflicting ideologies and mind games that they gave us, and that create a whole fucking feeling and environment of negativity, which is just, why do we have beef with the boomers? Oh, I can't think. You know, we are the experimental generation, the millennials, I think. It's like, we're dealing with shit backgrounds, but trying to find new ways that don't replicate the shit backgrounds we came from. And it's all experimentation. Some of the traits the boomer had might have promoted something, I guess, if you were looking into the Spock child rearing side of things. I mean, my parents didn't. He was a very interesting child psychology theorist. You could go Google him. He's quite interesting. I always thought it was the Spock guy, but it's not. It's a different Spock guy. It's like, I thought, wow, it's a diverse portfolio. No, it's not the same guy. Oh. But you know, we are dealing with a shitload of negativity, and Gen Z, I'm afraid, sorry guys, but you're going to be facing a whole different wave of other shit that's not going to come from us, but you're going to hate us for it. And you're going to be like, you guys whine so much. It's like, you won't know till you get there. You won't know just how fucked you are until you're sitting in the midst of it. So that's going to spread some negativity, and you're going to have to find ways to deal with the shit that happens that we have no real control over, because at the time, you know, we were all kids, and this was an adult thing. It's the role of the adults to set up the stage for us to do the right thing and to be able to access the right things. But we're going to have to, as adults ourselves, when our time comes, if we ever hit adulthood, we're going to have to mediate the situation, find ways to cope with the shit that's the fallout, essentially. And we're not going to be able to fall back on these negative, destructive tendencies, because in effect, you'll just lose everything if you turn towards the destructive side of things. Now, these people who sit there and say, oh, I just want the positive aspects of light, I just want love and light. Oh my God. As as a light worker, when we talk about the light, it's not a cute little fairy light. We are talking about a blazing inferno that burns away all the crud from the shit we surround ourselves in. It is not, oh, it's pretty twinkly. It's an inferno, okay? It's taking away the shit bit and promoting the good bit. Think of the sun. The sun can take life, it can take things, but it also gives life, okay? It is not fairy twinkly fucking lights that look pretty from a distance, especially when you've been drinking. You know, please stop assuming this love and light shit is anything but powerful, okay? It's cute that you think it is, but it is there to take away the shit. When we shine light on things, you know, it's meant to take away the darkness which has been covering up the bad shit. You're going to see the horrors of reality, whether you like it or not. And to be able to understand what's going on and to look at it without being afraid or uncomfortable and to go, wow, that's fucked, and be able to change it is the whole purpose of the love and light in love and light. These people that go, oh, I just want to see positive vibes, just positive love and light vibes, are full of shit, okay? Stop running away from the reality of the situation, okay? That bugs the fuck out of me, these fucking gurus. I'm just love and light. Like, you've never faced anything painful in your life, have you? It's like, and if you are looking at this in this fake positivity shit and saying, I only want to see the positive side of things, then you're in denial of reality and yourself. And it's not an authentic way to live, because we've all been through some fucked up shit. All of us, having the balls to fucking look at it and say, I don't like this, I'm changing this, is what the love and light shit is. It's lighting up the fucked up parts so you can change it. It's not just a case of, oh, it's pretty. Sprinkle some joy into your day. So if I get one more TikTok like that, I'm going to punch the bitch. It's raw. It is raw. At any stage of the dark night of the soul where you go through and your life falls a fucking apart, it's meant to be raw. You're meant to take notice. That's why it fucking hurts. What is it they said in like, what's that one with the luck dragon? Never ending story. It's got to hurt if it's going to heal. If you don't know that it hurts, you won't even look to see if it needs healing. It's going to fucking suck, yes. But as grown-ups, we now have a choice to change it. We might not as kids, because those fucks will not relinquish control. But now we have a choice and we have input and we can make the change. What are you doing? What bike is it? It's an Indian. Ew, Mandra plates. What are you doing? We don't go through Mandra. It's a bit like driving through Alabama. We don't do that. Ohio. But you know, you have a choice now. You've got to fucking be brave. You've got to stand up and say, fuck it, and get angry enough to make a difference. People look at anger and go, I don't want to see anger, I don't want to see negativity. Anger is a dual sword. It's not a case of it's a negative thing, it's destructive. Not all anger is negative. Not all anger is destructive. You can get angry as fuck and use it as rocket fuel for change. Most of the social movements came about at grassroots levels because people were fucking angry what was going on. That's how change came about. They got pissed off enough to fucking do something about it. And these people that promote the false positivity of, oh, love and light, and I only want to see the twinkly stars, and oh, I just want to fucking fairy magic. And I should know about fairy magic, trust me. They are fucking delusional. Because these are the fuckers that will huff their own shit and do nothing about the bad shit that's going on. It's the fuckers that get angry about, sorry, I'm maneuvering through car parks now. What is going on that are angry enough to do something about it that will actually get up off their ass and fix the problem. Ooh, we're going in this way now. I might back up actually. Get angry, but find a fucking good way of channeling it, dude. Don't just break shit. It's like when people go into the protesting side of things and they just go, right, it's like, that's not fixing anything. In fact, that's just breaking shit, because you might even need those resources later. If you are not happy about it, and particularly in this time period when everything seems to be fucking up, now is a good time to start realigning with what you actually want to see or be. Don't sit on your ass and fucking fairy love and light and all this bullshit, get up and fucking do something about it, because I can guarantee you will find support with other people who are also pissed off with what's going on. You're not alone. It's a lot of it, and the more these fuckers try and stir up the world and the planet and try and manipulate, because you know there's that saying, in the midst of chaos there's opportunity. Yeah, and you can't guarantee that the opportunity will go in the way of the assholes that are trying to create the chaos. You can't guarantee that. It's ridiculous that they can assume that they control the chaos they've created. That's just arrogance. So if you're facing a lot of negativity in your life, the best thing you can do is start realigning, start planning and strategizing about what you want to change and how you're going to do it. Don't just sit in it and say, well, I can't do anything about it, because you fucking can. You fucking can. I'm going to have to leave it there though, because I've got to go for a wander. I'm gonna go do some tactical acquisition and shit. I won't say what. No, I'm not going to nick stuff. So I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. Stay safe. Reevaluate your life. If you're feeling negativity, don't sit there and absolutely dwell on it and think there's nothing that can be done, because absolutely you can absolutely change anything. You might not like the way it's currently changing. Okay, bye then. Just grandma just meandering across. But there is always something that you can change about yourself. You absolutely can control what you want to do and what you want to say and what you want to be and who you want to go with and where you want to go and what you want to do. So there's always some kind of element that you can control yourself, which will actually create a ripple effect into the future of what you want to do or be. It will change your, I mean, as I said before, you've got a multifaceted dimensions when it comes to fate or anything like that. You can't actually change your fate because you're just picking a path at this point. But, you know, there's always a chance for growth. I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. Stay positive, but also don't ignore the negative. There's no point trying to just say, I only want to see the positive and shit, because that's just denial of self. It's denial of reality. If you've got a gaping big fucking wound on your side, you're going to want to look at it no matter how much it fucking hurts, right? If only to fix the fucking thing. No, I just want to pretend it's not there. My kidney's hanging out, but that's fine. Love and light. Take it easy, and I'll see you on another podcast hopefully soon.